Get back. Get back. Quit, Cash. Come on. Quit. It's okay. Come here. It's not bad. Come here, Cash. Shit. Come here. Post it. Cash.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Bubba. Hey, Bubba.
It's a guinea.
This is a chicken.
Come here, Bubba.
Come here, Cash.
Come here, Bubba.
Cash. Quit.
Listen, do you hear that voice? That's a father talking to his son. For minutes later, that son is gone. 7 minutes later, his wife is gone. 2 weapons, 2 victims. And that father? He told police he was never there. He swore it. For nearly 2 years, he maintained that story. Until this video surfaced. The video his son recorded in the final moments of his life. The video that captured the one thing Alex Murdaugh couldn't explain away. His own voice. At the scene. At the time. When everything happened. This is the story of how a legal dynasty that ruled South Carolina for a century crumbled because of 20 seconds of audio. A son. A mother. A father who thought he'd gotten away with it. Until he hadn't. What you're about to witness is the unraveling of the perfect crime that was never perfect at all. Before we uncover what really happened that night, I need you to do something. If you're fascinated by cases where power, privilege, and justice collide, hit that subscribe button right now. This is Dark Trail Files, where we don't just tell you the story, we take you inside it. We have exclusive footage, courtroom moments you haven't seen, and details that will make you question everything you thought you knew about this case. Subscribe, because what you're about to witness is unlike anything you've ever seen before. Now let's begin. For nearly a century, one name ruled South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit like royalty. Murdaugh. 3 generations of Murdaugh men served as solicitor, the top prosecutor, for 87 consecutive years. Randolph Murdaugh. Randolph Murdaugh Jr. Randolph Murdaugh III. From 1920 to 2006, if you committed a serious offense in Hampton County, a Murdaugh decided your fate. The family built an empire, a prestigious law firm, political connections that ran deep, properties spanning thousands of acres. They were untouchable, respected, feared even. People in the Lowcountry didn't cross the Murdaughs. Alex Murdaugh seemed destined to continue the legacy. A successful attorney at the family firm, Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Eltroth, and Dietrich. He had the pedigree, the connections, the southern charm that made juries trust him. He married Margaret Kennedy Branch. Everyone called her Maggie, a beautiful woman who became the perfect partner for his perfect life. They had 2 sons, Richard Alexander, called Buster, and Paul Terry. From the outside, it looked like the American dream in a grand colonial house. But empires built on secrets don't stand forever. February 24th, 2019. A cold winter night. 6 teenagers climbed into a boat at the Murdaugh family dock. Paul Murdaugh, just 19 years old, took the wheel. He'd been drinking. Witnesses would later say heavily. The boat crashed in the Archers Creek Bridge near Paris Island. The impact threw everyone into the freezing water. 5 teenagers survived. Mallory Beach, 19 years old, disappeared into the darkness. Her body was found a week later. Paul's best friend Rogan would later testify about the young man he knew, the friend who made a terrible mistake that night. A mistake that would haunt the Murdaugh family for the next 2 years.
Was he was going to do what if the FaceTime didn't work?
Send me a video.
And he never did.
That's correct.
And then you heard a voice say, "No, it's a chicken." Do you remember whose voice that was?
That was Mr. Alex that said it the first time, and then Paul also said it was a chicken.
Okay. And then someone says, "Bubba, let go of that chicken," or something like that?
Yeah, just holler for Bubba.
And whose voice did you recognize hollering for Bubba?
Mr. Alex.
Okay. And who's Bubba?
Their dog.
You had talked to Paul, I think the records show you had a 4-minute telephone conversation before that video was taken, which you didn't receive until law enforcement showed you. But you remember you talked to Paul for about 4 minutes, right?
That's correct.
And I believe when you were interviewed, you said it sounded like Mr. Alec had pulled up or something to that effect, driven up. Do you remember that?
No, I don't ever remember hearing a vehicle.
Okay.
I just remember hearing a third voice.
Okay. And the next day, excuse me, was it the 8th? The next day you went over and met with and went into the house at Moselle and you saw Maggie's parents.
That's correct.
And that's when Grandma, Miss Brandstetter, asked you if you heard Maggie's voice?
Yes.
Okay. And you told her you did?
Told her I talked to Paul and heard Miss Maggie.
And you told him in front of everybody that you had thought you'd heard Alec's voice too, right?
That's correct.
And he didn't push back whatsoever?
No, sir.
What was Alec's demeanor when you first saw him after the murders and days after? What?
He was just real distraught, sad. Just tore up about it.
Did he cry a lot?
Yes, sir.
Did he hug you?
He did.
Did he cry?
Yes, sir.
Did you cry?
Yes, sir.
Paul faced 3 felony charges, boating under the influence causing death. The Beach family filed a wrongful death lawsuit, not just against Paul, but against Alex Murdaugh and the family business. Discovery was underway. Financial records were being subpoenaed. The Murdaugh empire was about to be exposed. And then, 2 years later, everything changed in the most unthinkable way. June 7th, 2021 started like any other summer day at Moselle, the Murdaugh family's 1,700-acre hunting property in Culleton County. Alex spent the day working. Maggie had been staying at the family's beach house, but Alex asked her to come home to Moselle that evening. His father was ill. His mother had just been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Maggie drove back. Paul was already at the property. Earlier that day, he'd posted that Snapchat video. His dog, the kennels. Just an ordinary evening. The timeline would become crucial. At 8:44 p.m., Paul sent a text message. At 8:49 p.m., his phone recorded a video at the kennels. That video we showed you earlier. A video where you can hear 3 voices. Paul, Maggie, and a third voice that Alex would later claim couldn't have been his because he wasn't there. After that, silence. Paul's phone stopped all activity at 8:49 p.m. Maggie's phone showed its last activity at 8:53 p.m. At 10:07 p.m., Alex Murdaugh called 911, his voice shaking, his words frantic. He'd found them, his wife, his son, both gone. The 911 call played in court would send chills through everyone who heard it. The desperation, the horror. But was it genuine grief or something else?
I'd like to play, Doug, the Culleton County portion of the 911 call, which is in evidence as defendant's exhibit number 9.
2021, 22 hours, 7 minutes, 9 seconds.
I'm still here, okay?
Culleton County Communications.
Congressman, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line calling from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot.
Okay, and so give me the address again.
It's 4147 Moselle Road. I've been up to it now. It's bad.
Okay, how did they shoot?
When you say I've been up to it now and it's bad, what are you referring to?
I'm talking about what I saw was what y'all saw pictures of, and I mean, it was bad. It was terrible. And when I first got there, I know I got out of the car. I mean, I knew. Got out of the car, but Right at first. I didn't go. I don't think I went all the way to them. I think I ran back and that's when I called 911. And so I called 911, and while I was doing that, then is when I went to Maggie and I went to Paul. And so that's what I think I'm talking about.
Keep going, please.
Do it now, it's fast.
Okay. How did they shoot? Did they shoot themselves?
Oh no, hell no.
Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am, they're on the ground out at my kennels.
Okay, and did you see anyone?
He shot in the head, and he shot really bad. He shot it.
Okay, where is he shot at?
Ma'am, I don't know, but there's blood everywhere. I see his brain. Face down. I tried to turn her a little bit, but she's got a hole in her head.
Okay, is he breathing at all?
No, nobody.
Okay, do you see anything? Do you see anyone in the area?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No.
Is there any guns near them at all?
No, there's here.
What color is your house on the outside?
If that's what you're asking, they didn't shoot themselves, ma'am.
What?
Alec, right in there, you say the word here. What? Are you calling anybody or anything?
No, I'm talking to that dispatcher.
And what did you mean when you said here?
If you listen to that call, one of the first things she asked me was, did they shoot themselves? And I knew there's no way. I mean, I knew they didn't shoot themselves. There wasn't a gun. They didn't shoot themselves. And she'd asked me that. And then she asked me another question, something about that. And you hear me say here, and then you hear the thing talking. I'm telling her here, and then I say something, and then you hear me say, if that's what you're asking. And I'm letting her know they didn't shoot themselves. I'm saying here, and then I give her an explanation, which you can't hear on that phone, but it's obvious to me what I'm doing. And I say, if that's what you're asking me. Like David Owens asked me on August 11th, did I call a dog or was I talking to somebody? There was no dog that was out, and there was nobody there.
Talk about that briefly. Well, when you got there and you saw Maggie and Paul, where were the dogs?
The dogs were in the kennels. Dogs were in the kennels. They were wherever they were when law enforcement got there.
And you've seen pictures, and they called Dale Davis to the stand and talk about the hose rolled up. Did you roll the hose up?
No.
Did you do anything down there at the kennels when you got there other than call 911 and attend to Maggie and Paul?
No, I do know that I was trying to find a flashlight. I was trying to find a gun. Other than those things, no, I didn't do anything at the kennel. I didn't do anything with any hose. I didn't do anything with any dogs.
Was there anybody with you?
No.
Keep going, please.
It's white. You can't see it from the road.
Okay, is it a house or a mobile home?
It's a house.
Okay, and what is your name?
My name is Alex Murdaugh.
Okay, did you hear anything, or did you come home and find out?
I've been gone. I just came back.
Okay, and was anyone else supposed to be at your house?
No, ma'am. Please hurry.
We're getting somebody out there to you.
Oh, man. Oh, should have known.
Alec, we just heard you say, I should have known. What are you referring to?
I said, Paul, I should have known.
What were you referring to?
I was referring to Paul got so many threats. Didn't take serious. Think twice about. So I'm just telling him, Paul, I should have known. I don't specifically remember saying that, but I can clearly hear myself say that.
What kind of threats did you understand Paul was receiving?
I mean, Paul got the most vile threats. I mean, the stuff that was on social media. I mean, it was, you couldn't believe it. You couldn't believe it.
Keep going, please, Doug.
Okay, what is her name?
Maggie and Paul.
Maggie is her name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. When's the last time you talked to Maggie?
Hour and a half ago, probably 2 hours ago.
What? Okay, you said about 2 hours ago you talked to them?
Approximately, yes, ma'am, approximately.
You were asked the last time you saw them, and you said hour and a half to 2 hours ago, and then she followed up 2 hours ago. You just heard that?
I did hear that. And I said approximately to her question.
When was the last time you saw them, Maggie and Paul?
Right after I took the chicken from Bubba.
The video we've seen is timestamp 8:44 p.m. Is that correct?
That's right.
So was it shortly after 8:44?
It was.
And then you called 911. There are records of that, but do you remember roughly 9:07 or right before 9:07?
I mean, I've seen the records and seen the transcripts, yeah.
And then this is, and the records of this, but this is some minutes into the conversation with 911 operators, correct?
That's right. Like,
knowing everything we know now, I mean, was it roughly an hour and a half the last time you saw him?
it was. That would, with the time of however long it took to get to this point, however many minutes that is 10:10 to 10, however many, you can look exactly and see what point this is and know what time it is, but it's between 10 and 10:15. And so I'd seen them around 8:45, a little bit after.
Here's what investigators found at the scene. Maggie, 52 years old, had been struck by multiple rounds from a rifle. She'd fallen near the kennels. Paul, 22 years old, had been struck twice with a shotgun. Once in the chest, once in the head. 2 different weapons. 2 different people gone. And Alex Murdaugh, the only witness to the aftermath, was about to tell a story that would unravel in the most spectacular way. When first responders arrived, they found Alex in the grip of what appeared to be overwhelming grief.
They are dead, aren't they?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
Randy. Maggie's all are dead. Where are you now? All right. Yeah, the police are here now. The police are here now.
Affirmative.
That's my brother.
Okay. When was the last time you were here with them? Or talked to them or anything like that?
It was earlier tonight. I don't know the exact time, but
okay.
I left. I was probably gone an hour and a half from my mom's, and I saw them about 45 minutes before that.
Okay.
I rode around with Paul for 2 hours this afternoon in the pickup truck.
That's your son, Paul? Okay.
somebody going to check them?
Yes, sir. They've already checked them.
They did check them?
Yes, sir.
It's official that they're dead?
Yes, sir. That's what it looks like.
I'm sorry.
No. You're fine.
I'm very sorry. Gotta call her parents.
What's her name?
Her name is Maggie Murdaugh. Margaret Brandstetter Murdaugh. How you doing?
What's her birthday?
9/15/68.
Okay, and what's your son's first name? You said Paul?
Paul Carey Murdaugh.
And what's his birthday?
Jason, do you have anybody
4.
coming through town that could stop and pick up that tent? I see lighting off in the distance.
What, are they covering them up?
I got some getting dressed now, Sheriff. I'll have somebody stop and grab it.
Tell them they don't have to do that. They don't.
The body cam footage shows a man who seems destroyed, pacing, struggling to breathe, telling officers he'd been visiting his mother, came home, and found them. But investigators noticed something immediately. Alex's story about where he'd been that evening was very specific. He'd been at his mother's house in Alameda from 7 p.m. until around 9:30 p.m. He wasn't at the kennels. He hadn't seen Paul or Maggie since earlier in the day. The next day, police conducted a thorough search of the Murdaugh properties.
So when autopsy is over, the funeral home, whoever decides to do, they will bring bring Paul and Miss Maggie back home, and then from there you get the arrangements. You make the arrangements as far as funerals and different things on y'all's timeline, not ours.
What's typical of the autopsy timeline?
So I'm not sure if it is scheduled for today. My guess. Do you know, Jeff, on the autopsy?
Not yet, I don't.
My guess.
I can find out and let you know. I'll step outside and call and see if they've already made.
Find out.
Yes, or MUSC.
Yep, I'll step outside.
So I would imagine.
About a half hour ago, they have not started it yet, is what Rich Harvey, the coroner, told me.
Okay, so that means they are in the process of doing it. They're already there. So
They were looking for weapons, evidence, anything that might explain what happened. What they were building wasn't just a murder investigation. It was a case against one of the most powerful families in South Carolina. In interrogation, Alex maintained his story. He was cooperative, emotional. He described coming home, calling out for Maggie, driving his vehicle down to the kennels, and finding a scene so horrible he could barely process it.
I hate to have to do this.
I understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
So you don't have any problem with it.
So, just start at the top, take your time.
Like when I came back here.
Sorry.
And I could see his brain on his... And I ran over I tried to turn him over, and I don't know, I figured it out. His cell phone popped out of his pocket. I started to try to do something with it, thinking maybe, but then I put it back down really quickly. Then I went to my wife, and I mean, I could see.
Did you touch him?
And you know, I called 911 pretty much right away, and she was very good. I talked to her. I told her I was going to get off the phone to call some family members. I did that.
What family members did you call?
I called my brother Randy, and I called my brother John. And I tried to call a little boy, a real good friend that's right around the corner from here, but I didn't get him.
Okay. What all was around Paul when you walked up?
Blood.
Anything else?
I mean, there were some body things, yes, sir.
I mean, like any other evidence? I know you said the phone fell out the pocket, but did you see anything else that didn't belong or shouldn't belong or that wasn't part of Paul?
No, sir, not the. No, sir.
How about Maggie?
No, sir.
You didn't see anything around them? What made you come out here at night?
I went to, my mom's a late stage Alzheimer's patient. My dad's in the hospital. My mom gets anxious when she does. I went to check on them and Maggie. Maggie's a dog lover, and she fools with the dogs. And I knew she'd gone to the kennel. I was at the house. I left the house and went to my mom's for just a little while. Tried to call her when I left. Texted her, no response. When I got back to the house was obviously nobody was in there. So I figured they're still up here fooling around. Paul was gonna be getting set up to plant. Our sunflower seeds got sprayed and died, and he was refiguring to plant the sunflower seeds.
Okay.
So I came back up here and I drove up and saw and called.
Had Maggie and Paul been arguing over anything?
No.
What was their relationship like?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How about yours and Maggie's?
Wonderful. I mean, I'm sure we had little things here and there, but we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
And yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
How old was Paul?
22.
Okay. Have you talked with any of these guys tonight?
Talked with Nolan, yes, sir.
Is he out here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I tried to call Rogan, was one of the people he's the boy that I told you lives around the corner.
Okay.
That's very, he's just a good, helpful young man. You mind if I open the door really quickly?
Go right ahead. Do what you need to do. So is there anybody that you can think of that we need to talk to tonight? Is there a name that comes to mind?
I mean, I can't tell you anybody that I'm overly suspicious of off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mean, this is such a stupid thing. I'm even embarrassed to say it. But it just didn't make any sense. I just hired a guy out here, and he wasn't cutting the mustard, but I hadn't told him this yet. Paul's been working with him a lot. He killed the sunflower seeds in our dove field just recently, which is why Paul was here doing this. He told Paul a story the other day about how when he was in high school, he got in a fight with some black guys. And the FBI undercover team observed him fighting those guys and put him on an undercover team with 3 Navy SEALs. And that their job was to kill radical Black Panthers. And they did that from Myrtle Beach to Savannah. Now, I really don't think this guy, is probably the person, but that's just so freaking...
Yeah, that's kind of far-fetched story.
It's weird, but he was off today.
Okay.
He took his daddy to the doctor.
What's his name?
C.B. Rowe.
ROWE?
Yeah, and I sent him a message to text me earlier today about the sunflowers, and he called me back when I was on the way to my mom's house.
Did you talk to him at that time?
Briefly, I was on the phone with a lawyer friend of mine named Chris Wilson from Bamberg, so I told him I'd call him back tomorrow, see him in the morning.
When you briefly talked to Mr. Rowe, what was his demeanor or attitude? Or
I mean, it seemed normal. I mean, I asked him about the sunflowers, and so, you know, I mean, I'm sure he's a little bit.
Where does he live?
I don't exactly know. Somewhere in in Bronson.
Okay. Do you have his phone number?
I do.
You got it with you, or closer?
I do. Last week. My son Paul actually, I really do not think, in all honesty, that it's him, but I know y'all got to check it out. But Paul was so taken aback by it that he sent, I'll find it, I got it on my phone, he recorded him saying bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
No. But for all his weirdness, I mean, I do think they got along pretty good.
How long had he been working here?
I guess about 3 or 4 pay periods, so 8 weeks, a couple months.
Going back to the boat incident, anybody on that boat really have a hard-on for Paul that you would think would come after him, or know of any direct threats from people on the boat?
I don't know of any direct threats between any of the people on the boat specifically, but I do think there's been a small amount of yip-yap between a couple of them, but not recently. Most of this was stuff from people that Paul didn't really know. It was some people that he knew distantly, but more times than not, when I learned about it, it was somebody that he didn't know. It's like, for example, he went out in Charleston a couple months ago, came back, he got a black eye. And, he can't defend himself right now because he has these charges. So, Paul was a real tough man's man. He would
defend himself, but he hadn't been.
That's right. But
how was he handling that case, moving over everybody?
As far as what?
How was he handling it?
I've never been prouder of him than the way he has handled the pressures and the adversity in that situation. I think I've told Danny that before. I mean, Paul is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful kid. He can do almost anything. He gets along with almost anybody.
Do y'all store any weapons out here?
We don't store them, but they're frequently out here. I need to find out if there were any out here, because I know there was a shotgun. There was a 12-gauge shotgun out here. I'll have to find out exactly when that was. I think it got put up, but I'm not positive.
What did that shotgun look like?
It was a camouflage. I want to say it was a Benelli or maybe a Beretta. I can't remember which brand it is. But I don't think it was out here.
Okay.
Recently. But I'm not positive.
And the shotgun that you had when deputies pulled up, where did that come from?
I went to the house and I got a gun. Probably overreacting, but...
And was that when you pulled up and saw them?
No, I mean, I came out and, I called 911 first.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to them for a little while, and then I told her.
You told her?
That I was going to go to the house.
Okay.
And that I would let authorities know when they got here that I had a gun.
Okay. Do you happen to have a list of all your guns?
I can make one. I don't have one, but I can make one.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, so we could compare if that shotgun was out here and now it's missing.
Absolutely.
Try to figure that out.
No, absolutely.
And I know living out here in the country, you probably have more than one or two.
We do. We probably have 20, 25 guns.
Yeah. Shotguns,
rifles, pistols.
Any rifles?
Yes, sir.
And what kind of rifles?
All kinds.
Yeah.
All kinds. I mean, you name it across the board, we have them.
Okay.
And I mean, all of them we have are, in a hunting room in our house.
Laura, you got anything?
This one's hard, but when you first saw Paul, you said you tried to flip him over. Was he laying on his back or on his stomach?
Just like he is.
Just like he is. So you weren't able to move him. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did he help Maggie a lot out here with the animals?
He helped everybody with everything.
Okay, so it was kind of routine for him to be out here as well in the evening?
This place is his absolute passion.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So, just to kind of let you know what's going to go on, we're going to be out here for quite some time. The coroner will take custody of Paul and Maggie.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What? No, we're finished. Let me come out. Well, I'll be here when he gets here. No, don't let him come up here. Okay, yeah. I think we're about done. All right, thank you. So, I'm sorry.
Buster, getting here? Okay.
Yes, sir. I dropped my card.
We'll get you another one.
Sorry.
I'll get you one.
Here you go.
Thank you.
So the coroner will come over and talk to you. They'll do the autopsy and everything, and then go from there.
Thank you.
But we'll come see you before we leave.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Rutland.
Alex even offered his theory about what happened, that whoever did this likely targeted Maggie first, then Paul. He seemed willing to help, desperate for answers, but investigators were already seeing cracks in his timeline.
I've been able to answer some of your questions. I know you probably have more, but with my questionings, trying to get some things cleared up, have I given you some answers?
Well, I do know more than I did, for sure. So, yes, some of those questions have certainly, yes, sir.
What other questions do you have then?
I would like to know exactly what happened.
Me too. The best that I've been able to put together.
It looks like Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I believe Paul was shot first. For the simple fact of where he was located.
How many times was he shot?
Twice.
I thought he shot Maggie first because I could tell he shot her in the back of the head.
What? He said he thought he shot Maggie first, or Maggie was shot first?
He thought, Alex stated that he thought Maggie was shot first
because of that video. That Snapchat video Paul recorded at 8:49 p.m. The one where you can hear Alex's voice in the background. The voice Alex said couldn't be there because he wasn't at the kennels that evening. In court, there would be moments of raw emotion.
Buster, I am so sorry that I let you down. I am so sorry that I have not been able to be with you. During such hard times. I am so sorry that I did so many things that are so contradictory to every single thing Mom and I ever taught you. And Paul, I am so sorry. I am so very sorry that the things that I did and that I am pleading guilty to here today have somehow caused some people, especially people on social media, and some people in the media, to somehow believe that based on the things that I did, that it is somehow okay to make false, baseless, unsubstantiated claims against you that are not only based on no facts and no evidence whatsoever, but are also not based on any semblance of reality whatsoever. And I am so sorry that you have had to go through that. I know, Buster, that you know that I have always been proud of you. I have never been more proud of you than I am for the way that you have handled all of the adversity that I put on you. Your whole family is proud of you. Mom is proud of you. And Papa is proud of you. I see in letters, emails, and messages that people give to my attorneys how impressed people are with the way that you have carried yourself through all of this. I want you to remember that rational, reasonable thinking people never make as much noise as haters do. I want you to continue to tune them out and continue to be the bigger person as you have this whole time. I want you to continue to stay positive. And stay the course. I love you so much. And I am so proud of you. Next.
Alex speaking directly to his surviving son, Buster, a father and son, with the rest of their family gone. But as the investigation deepened, so did the questions. The Murdaugh's housekeeper would testify about something strange.
Well, during the month of August, do you remember him having a conversation with you about a shirt?
Yes, sir.
Did you find that to be unusual?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell them what the conversation was and why you found it unusual. Please.
He walked in to the little house, and I was getting ready to leave, and he said, "B, I need to talk to you." And he said, "Come here, sit down." So I went in the living room. I sat down, and he was pacing back and forth in the living room. And he said, "I got a bad feeling." He said, "I got a bad feeling." He said, "Something's not right." And then he said, "Well, you know, there's a video. There was a video that was out. I hadn't seen a video." And he said, "You remember the shirt I was wearing, that Vinnie Vines shirt?" That's what he said to me. And in my mind, I was saying, I don't remember a Vinnie Vines shirt. It was the polo shirt. But I didn't mention. He said, "Well, you know what? I was wearing that shirt." He said, "You know, in the that day." And still, I was just. I didn't say anything, but I was kind of thrown back because I don't remember that. I don't remember him wearing that shirt that day when he left. I know what shirt he was wearing because I fixed the collar, and the collar's a different material.
And I don't know what a Vinnie Vine shirt is. But when he left that day, was he wearing a Vinnie Vine shirt? Or was he wearing the collar you've described?
It was a polo shirt.
Polo shirt. Just using your common sense, that it appeared to you he was trying to tell you to say, "I was wearing the shirt."
Objection is sustained as to the form of the question.
How did you take that conversation?
I felt confused at first, and then I know what he was wearing the day he left the house.
Alex had asked her about a shirt, the one he'd been wearing on June 7th. He seemed concerned about it, worried about what it might show. It was a small detail, but in a case built on details, nothing was insignificant. Even more disturbing was testimony from Alex's own brother, who admitted to cleaning up the crime scene after police had finished their investigation.
Excuse me, this is going to be really difficult. So I could easily see where Maggie had been. You know, I saw the night before where the sheets were, and somebody had told me that who was who, and so I could see where Maggie had been, and it was grass, and you know, they had covered it up with dirt, so there really was nothing to see where Maggie was. I walked over to the feed room, and y'all have heard the descriptions. Y'all saw it. I've never seen pictures, and I've told them before coming to this court that I was not going to see pictures. But y'all can imagine what I experienced. It had not been cleaned up. I saw blood. I saw brains. I saw pieces of skull. And when I say brains, it could just be tissue. I don't know. I felt like it was the right thing to do. I felt like I owed him, and I started cleaning. don't know, I'm not blaming anybody, but it's just, I was just overwhelmed. I did everything I could, and I would have moments where I would stop crying for a moment, and just just in disbelief. At one point, I called my brother Randy, and told him what I was doing, trying to describe what I was doing, and he immediately told me to stop doing it. It was not good for me. It was not healthy for me to be there. And I couldn't stop. I had to do it for Paul. That's just what I had to do. And I don't know, it's probably 15, 20 minutes later, Mark Ball shows up. Y'all heard Mark Ball testify. And he came and hugged me and told me it was okay to leave. Okay to leave what was left of Paul. That they would clean it up. It's the hardest thing I've ever been through in my life.
Yes, sir. What'd you do next?
Why? What was there to clean? What might have been removed? The prosecution was building a case that went far beyond a double homicide. They were exposing a web of financial crimes that Alex had been committing for years. Millions of dollars stolen from clients. Money laundered through fake accounts. A scheme so elaborate it involved nearly 100 charges across multiple counties. Even from jail, Alex was making calls to Buster about finances, about protecting assets, about what needed to be done to preserve what was left of the family fortune. The calls would later be used as evidence of a man more concerned with money than justice.
How you doing on finances?
Pretty slim, but it'll be getting better.
Well, listen here. Do you want me to tell Uncle John to give you, several $1,000s, and then I'll pay him back?
No, it's just I've just had expenses, like considering I had to change my medical insurance.
Well, we need to get John to pay for the storage facility and then let me pay him back.
Well, I don't understand how you would.
You need to be paying. But anyway, I mean, do you want me to get him to give you just, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 so you just have, and you don't have to worry about expenses?
No, because I've got that money. I mean, right now my bank account, I've got $10,000. A little bit more when I get.
Like when you go play golf, you can, if you want to, get a shirt and have a drink and have drinks or whatever at the bar and this, that, and the other.
Yeah, I mean, I've got stuff that can settle all that.
All right. Well, you just got to keep me posted because, I can get him to give you money and then pay him back. Okay. Well, you got to keep me posted and let me know, okay?
All right.
Everything else going okay?
Yeah, everything's fine.
You want to take my clubs?
No, I just use mine. I don't know where yours are. I think yours are still in the Mercedes.
Then came a moment that changed everything. The video. The one piece of evidence Alex couldn't explain away. The one that would destroy his alibi completely. We're about to show you the exact moment Alex Murdaugh realized his entire story had just fallen apart. This is the moment in court where it all came crashing down.
Well, what time did that camera come on?
At 8:44:49.
Okay. And how long was that video again?
It was roughly 50 seconds.
And when did that video end?
At 8:45:47.
And you're certain about that?
Yes, sir.
Why are you certain about that?
Because I reviewed the video for looking at the length of the video. It compared it to the length of the camera time that was on. Also, too, there was data recorded in the video because it was taken with the phone that had GPS coordinates along with a description of the phone that took it.
Okay. And you're telling this jury today that you're certain that that is when that video is recorded on Paul's phone?
Yes, sir.
And as we referenced, when we're looking at that timeline, there's location data associated with that video as well, correct?
Yes, sir, correct.
All right. And where did you plot that location data?
It plotted to Moselle Road to near a building that had a red roof on it.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 297. Do you recognize it, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
What is that?
It is a CD that contains a video. On it, it says Kennel Video, has States 297 on there, along with my initials and the date of 1/30/23.
And have you reviewed the contents of that CD?
Yes, sir, I have.
And what is the contents of that CD?
It is a video I found on Paul Murdaugh's phone. The video looks like inside maybe a kenneled area with a fence around it and a dog, I believe to be a lab, where he's trying to take a video of the tail of the dog.
Okay. All right. And that's what you see in that video.
Yes, sir.
What do you hear in the video?
You hear 3 different voices in the video. You can tell because they're so different, you can tell that they're different voices.
All right. Now, are any of those voices known personally to you?
No, sir, they are not.
Okay. This time, State would move to enter Exhibit 297 into evidence.
The previous objection, submitted over objection.
All right. And at this time, the State's going to publish that video. It is not under seal.
Get out. Quick, Cash. Quick. Hey, you got burgers now. Hey, brother. It's a guinea. There's a chicken. Come here, Bob. Come here. Come here, Cash. Quick.
What time is that video recorded again, Lieutenant Dove?
The camera begins at 8:44:49 p.m.
And ends when?
At 8:45:47 p.m.
Cross-examination.
Alex's face as he realizes what the jury is seeing, what they're hearing, the evidence he never knew existed. The video his son recorded, with his voice on it, at the kennels, at 8:49 p.m. The last moments of Paul and Maggie's lives, and he was there. Alex had no choice. He had to change his story. After nearly 2 years of saying he wasn't there, he admitted it. Yes, that's my voice. Yes, I was at the kennels. But I left. I went up to the house. When I came back, they were gone. A new story. But the damage was done. Even the bodycam footage from that first night revealed concerning behavior. While standing near his deceased son and wife, Alex could be heard casually greeting first responders with, "Hey, how you doing?" in a tone that struck investigators as eerily calm for someone who'd just discovered his family gone. The defense tried a different angle.
If you follow these lines back, wherever a shooter could have been, were higher or lower than the doghouse or the small animal cage, right?
Right.
But doesn't this indicate to you there were 2 shooters? There was a shooter up here and a shooter down here? Is it a possibility? Let me say this. Is it a possibility that there are 2 shooters based on the data you collected?
It just indicated there was movement to me.
Movement from here all the way up to here?
I don't know that it went all the way up there.
But is it, I'm not telling you, I mean, one explanation would be movement, correct? One explanation would be 2 shooters. I'm sorry? Yes?
I wasn't there.
No. But one explanation of this data would be 2 shooters. one explanation, not the, but one.
Not the only one.
Yeah, not the only one, but it is a reasonable explanation, just like one shooter running up that way, correct?
Sure.
So one of the reasonable explanations is there are two people there, there are two guns there, one's a shotgun, one's an AR, and we now see that that AR is being shot from way up here, correct?
I can't say that, no. It's somewhere along that line.
And that line goes a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen yards from the feed room, if you follow it straight up.
I don't know where they were within that line.
Could someone have been a lookout there? They went there to kill Paul, and that's the lookout. Maggie surprised them. They thought she was gone.
Have no idea.
Reasonable though, right? Right?
Have no idea. I wasn't there.
I know you weren't there, but none of us were there. We're trying to figure out what happened that night. And clearly, one reasonable explanation is 2 shooters. One explanation.
One.
2 different weapons meant 2 different shooters, right? How could one person handle 2 different firearms, eliminate 2 people in different locations, all within minutes? It was physically impossible, they argued. But the prosecution had a different explanation. Alex was 6'4", experienced with weapons, intimate with the property. He knew every building, every shed, every place a rifle and shotgun might be stored. And he had the perfect motive. Financial ruin was coming. The boat crash lawsuit was exposing his crimes. His empire was about to crumble. The housekeeper described what she saw when she entered the house that night. Details that didn't match Alex's story. Things moved. Things missing. A house that told its own story if you knew how to read it.
When I got inside, I didn't turn on any lights. I didn't do anything. I walked through the front door and I went in the kitchen. And I was kind of, when I looked in the kitchen, I kind of just stopped in my tracks and I looked at the stove, and I was kind of, I don't know what the word is. When I looked and I noticed the stove, that there was no pots on the stove, it was kind of unusual, because usually when they ate dinner the night before, the pots usually stayed on the stove. Very, very seldom would she put, certain meals in the refrigerator. A lot of times it was just left on the stove until the next day. And the pots were not in the sink, and they were not on the stove. And then as I walked through, if you walk through the kitchen, like you're going to, from the kitchen, if you walk through the kitchen, if you go to the left, there's 2 freezer and a refrigerator, and the laundry room sat right there to the left. There's a back door to the back porch, and then there's the laundry room door. They're both right there. And as I turned to go to the laundry room, I noticed that there was, her pajamas were in the middle of the doorway, right in the middle, laid neatly in the middle of the doorway going into the laundry room. It was her pajama pants, a pair of underwear, and her pajama top.
Was that unusual?
That was very unusual. Because she wouldn't lay her clothes out like that, not in the middle of the door like that. It just didn't look right to me.
And you took care of the house?
Yes.
You took care of the clothes?
Yes.
And not to get too personal, but sometimes you can't help it. Were the underwear there with the pajamas unusual?
Yes.
Why?
She didn't wear underwear with her pajamas.
No underwear with pajamas. But that struck you.
No underclothes with the pajamas.
But that struck you as unusual. They were there with the pajamas.
Yes, sir, because the underwear appeared to be clean, not dirty. They still had like fold marks.
And the pots, and I may have just missed it, you said, where would the pots end up when you found them?
After I looked at the pajamas on the floor, the way that they were set, I turned around and I said, well, I wonder where the pots are. So I opened the refrigerator door, and the pots were sitting inside the refrigerator with lids on them. And I was like, you know, who did this? I don't know at that point, but that was not normal for the whole pot to be sitting in the fridge.
Did you make any other observations in the house, the bathroom, or anywhere else?
In the master bathroom was her clothes were sitting next to the tub. It was a small pile of clothes right next to the tub. And by the shower, if you walk in the master bedroom, there's a big garden tub, spa type tub. And then right here is the shower, and there's a window. On the floor next to the shower was a slight puddle of water, a towel, and a pair of khaki pants. And then as I went to the left to see if there was anything else that was out, I looked in the closet, and in the closet was a white damp towel on the floor. It appeared that a t-shirt had fallen off of the stack of t-shirts that were on top of the shelf right there in the closet. It was laying on the floor next to the towel.
When you took care of the home, was that, tell us how the clothes were laid out, the shirts, the shorts were, you're saying up on a shelf, or the shirts, how were they?
In the closet there was a shelf. There was some shelves, smaller shelves right here. Then there was some long ones. Maggie used to keep her clothes on these. And then there was a shorter one, kind of like little box looking, you know. Alex used to keep his clothes, his belts and stuff in that. And then on top, there was also an area where he kept t-shirts.
One piece of bodycam audio became critical. In his distress that night, Alex said something. But what? Did he say, I did him so bad? A confession of guilt? Or they did him so bad? The words of a grieving father? The audio was unclear. Both sides had experts. Both sides had interpretations. But in the context of everything else, those words took on a sinister meaning. The courtroom became a battlefield. Defense attorney Dick Harputlian fought hard, engaging in intense exchanges with witnesses like attorney Ronnie Crosby.
You're trying to take me somewhere that you probably don't want to.
Oh, no, I think I want to. Answer the question. Withdraw the question. Let me ask you this question. Maybe let's get to the meat of the matter here. Have you had to come out of pocket to pay back the money he stole?
Yes, and if you...
How much? And don't tell me you don't know.
Well, we're still counting, Mr. Harputlian.
Well, how much have you paid so far?
We have had to borrow millions to pay back.
No, how much have you had to come out of pocket?
Well, when you borrow it, you got to pay it back, and I couldn't tell you how much has exactly been paid back as of we sit here today. But yes, and if you're implying that I would come in here and somehow shade truth in any way because of that, I would take high offense with that, Mr. Harputlian.
I'm concerned about your high offense. Are you angry at him for stealing your money?
I have no feeling one way or the other.
I don't have any feeling about Alec Murdaugh betraying you and stealing your money. I admire you. I don't know that I could look beyond that.
Objection, Your Honor. It is sustained. It's not a question. The jury is to disregard the argument.
You are not angry with Alec Murdaugh?
I have had anger with him, extreme anger, Mr. Harputlian, because of what he did to my law firm, my partners, my client, his clients, our clients, what he did to his family, what he's did to so many people. Yes, I experienced a lot of anger. But you can't walk around with anger. You have to find a way to deal with it and move forward. And I have done that. And if you suggest, you are dead wrong if you think I've come in here and told this jury something because of money. When we're talking about two people who were brutally murdered, then you're headed in the wrong direction.
You think he did it?
I don't have an opinion. I don't have the benefit of the materials you have.
Well, let me ask you this. You're angry with him, stole millions of dollars from your firm. You admit your firm's not even called the Murdaugh firm anymore, right?
It is not. I don't admit that I'm angry right now. I told you I've gotten away from that. I don't have any feelings because you can't walk around with anger. I have been very, very angry about it because of what he's done. And he did it in a very callous way, a very deceitful way.
And you carry no, I'm sorry, maybe I just saw some anger there. Were you angry just a moment ago?
No, you keep trying to push a question and don't want to accept my answer, which is what it is.
That you've just given your zen, your nirvana, your whatever the...
Your Honor, objection.
Are you,
Mr. Harpootlian,
forgiving him?
I came to the scene of these murders to support my partner. I was there. I saw things that hadn't even been talked about in this courtroom. I was there. I love Paul very much. I thought I knew who Alec was. I did not. And it's hard to you might not understand, but it's hard to walk around with anger, and hard to even walk around with it when it's with somebody you didn't know and didn't understand. So you might have be that way, but you know, I've got to function, I've got a family, I've got to move on with life.
And even though it's cost you your firm and it's cost millions of dollars to you, you have forgiven him? You bear him no ill?
I didn't say I forgave him.
You're just not angry about it anymore?
I said I have no feelings. And I had to work on that, Mr. Harpootlian. You know, when you go through what we've gone through, not only the trauma of losing people we loved in a double homicide, seeing the aftermath, and then learning that someone you've worked with for more than 20 years had been stealing throughout a period of time and deceiving us, there's a lot of emotion there. And yes, it was bad in the fall of 2021, and I have found a way to have no feelings. It's not forgiveness, it's just I don't have
any. You're not
anything.
angry here today? You're not angry at him at all?
I'm not angry. If I raise my voice, it's only because of the implication that you were trying to
The implication that you might not want to help him in front of this jury here today because let me finish the question, because he destroyed your firm, he stole millions of dollars you had to pay back, he deceived you. All that's away and is not influencing your testimony here today at all. If you'd answer that yes or no, then you can explain.
All those things happened, and it does not influence my testimony. I take the oath that I just took very seriously, and if you got any indication that anything I said was inaccurate, I'll be glad to address it with you.
They challenged every piece of evidence, every timeline, every assumption. This was a man's life at stake. Ronnie Crosby, a close friend and colleague of Alex, would deliver some of the most damaging testimony.
When I got out of court, I saw that I'd missed communications from one of my partners, Mark Ball, and I called him, and he said, "We have a problem," and I was like, "What?" And he said, "You have to come now," and I said, "I'm just walking out of court. I need to go home and eat supper, and it's not on my way." And he didn't ever tell me what it was, but he said, "You have to come now." And I could tell the urgency, and so he told me where to meet him, and that would have been in Cummings, South Carolina, at my partner Danny Henderson's place, and which was not on my way home, but he was so insistent that I went there and met. When I got there, Danny and Mark were there waiting on me.
And ultimately, what was your discussion?
I was giving a folder that had paperwork in it, and that paperwork consisted of checks, both front and back, and I was asked to review them.
And were those the what's been called the fake forged checks?
I believe the fake forged checks, there was not all of them that Ms. Seckinger went over, but I believe that there was, I could probably call the names of most of them that were there. I know it was Anderson, Bush, Moore, There was about 5 or 6 of them, and I believe they had a copy of the Ferris check there too.
Ferris check?
Yes, and I'd sat for a minute and reviewed it. I think Danny said, "You're going to need a drink." And so...
Did you have a drink?
Yeah, ultimately more than one.
What happened after that?
Well, they didn't tell me what was in it. They let me review it on my own. And I immediately said, this is bad. And my words then were that we have to terminate Alec. He can no longer practice with us. And that was within, I don't know how many minutes, but it was not a long period of time, because the way Jeannie had it laid out, it was clear what had happened and that this money had been stolen.
Did any of the partners go to confront Alec with this information that had been uncovered?
Yes, there was a meeting the following morning at Lee's house. I did not attend. I did not need to attend. I was still getting ready for trial. I had already decided where this was going, and they met, and then we, Danny and Randy, Alec's brother, went and met with Alec.
And what was your understanding of what the defendant said as a result of that?
That he admitted and said that he knew he was going to get caught at some point in time, and admitted to them that he did it.
He knew the family. He knew the finances. He knew the pressure Alex was under. And on day 10, his testimony painted a picture of a man whose perfect life was about to be exposed as a fraud. The case was building to its climax. Weeks of testimony, dozens of witnesses, hundreds of pieces of evidence. But it all came down to one question. Could a jury believe that Alex Murdaugh, a man from one of South Carolina's most prestigious families, could take the lives of his own wife and son? The answer would come faster than anyone expected. When Alex took the stand, he looked directly at the jury and said the words everyone was waiting to hear. No, he did not hurt his wife. He did not hurt his son. He loved them. The suggestion was unthinkable.
I'm Alec Murdaugh, Murdaugh. Good morning.
Mr. Murdaugh, on June 7th, 2021, did you take a 300 blackout, such as this, and fire it into your wife Maggie's leg, torso, or any part of her body?
No, I did not.
Did you shoot a 300 blackout into her head, causing her death?
Mr. Griffin, I didn't shoot my wife or my son anytime. Ever.
Mr. Murdaugh, is that you? And in the interview of August 11th, did you tell Agent Owen and Agent Croft, did you lie to them by telling them that you were not down at the kennels on that night?
Yes.
Alec, why did you lie to Agent Owen, Agent Croft, and Deputy Rutland about the last time you saw Maggie and Paul?
His testimony became emotional as he described finding them. The tears came. The voice broke. This was either a grieving father reliving his worst nightmare, or a performance by a man who'd spent his entire career persuading juries. For hours, Alex tried to explain everything. The financial crimes? Yes, he was guilty. He'd stolen money, betrayed clients, lived a double life. But taking the lives of Maggie and Paul? Never. The financial crimes made him a thief, not something far worse. Alex even addressed the obvious question on everyone's mind. Did he think the boat crash victims' families might have done this? Did he think someone connected to Mallory Beach's passing was seeking revenge? No, he testified. That never crossed his mind. Not once. A curious answer, considering it would have been the most obvious alternative theory. Then came Prosecutor Creighton Waters with a closing argument that would seal Alex's fate. Step by step, minute by minute, Waters walked the jury through exactly what happened that night. How Alex lured Maggie and Paul to the kennels. How he used 2 weapons to make it look like 2 shooters. How he created a timeline that he thought gave him an alibi. And how Paul's video destroyed everything. Waters didn't just present evidence. He told a story. A story of a man so desperate to keep his crimes hidden that he committed the ultimate horror. A man who looked at his wife and son and saw only obstacles to his freedom. March 2nd, 2023. After just 3 hours of deliberation, the jury returned. Guilty. Guilty on both counts. The courtroom erupted. Maggie's family wept. Paul's friends held each other. And Alex Murdaugh, the man from the most powerful legal family in South Carolina, sat silent.
And I have lived with this case now for over 2 years. And I have 34 days left before active retirement. And after imposing this sentence, your life will continue. I will turn the page and leave you behind. You're quite an enigma, a person that many of us thought we knew. And as I stated earlier, I can only recall you as being a fun-loving, happy person. I've never seen you sad. I've never seen you being anything other than a friendly, caring person. And it's so disappointing to see you again in this setting. I believe the last time we saw each other and you were not in jail was at a conference when you were poolside having a good time. And as it turns out, that was a couple of months after the passing of your wife and son. But you were having a good time. Made nothing of it, and then the Labor Day weekend events occurred, and next thing I know, I'm assigned to preside over all of your matters. Not on your matters, but others as well. And we started out with over 100 charges, indictments against various folks, and we've whittled that down to just a handful outstanding. And I'm happy to turn the page and turn not turn the remnants over to anyone else, but to certainly turn over anything pending against you to someone else. It's been said that these are white-collar offenses. I've never had that distinction. I've never thought of it that way. I've looked at criminal offenses as criminal offenses. You know, 3 property crimes in South Carolina is you can get 10 years in prison. People have gotten 10 years for shoplifting, 3rd offense. I've sent people into retirement for committing criminal offenses over and over and over again. But I've never thought of it as being a white-collar offense. Having had employees do embezzlement, church secretaries stole money, preachers stolen money, many offenses. But I never draw a distinction between a violent crime and other crimes. Certainly the law makes a distinction, and many violent crimes are non-parole offenses. The plea I'm accepting with you, you must serve 85% of the time. the parties have indicated that they are the victims to the extent that they can be called victims. That's my preferred term for the group of people who have been preyed upon or victimized. They've all indicated that they would like for the court to accept the negotiated sentence. It is a stern sentence. The question was asked, what kind of animal are you? You're an enigmatic person. I don't know that you understand yourself. What comes to mind is a young man that I sentenced to death penalty for killing a police officer and setting his body on fire. And though personally I was opposed to capital punishment, he was sentenced to death. And in writing up that sentence report, I concluded that he was heartless. He was just empty. And when I see you and I listen to you and I reflect on all that I've seen since being appointed, assigned to these cases, you come closest to that young man. Being empty, I don't see anything. I tried to reach you at sentencing in the other case. I've listened to you here today, and I don't see anything there. Hopefully something will emerge within your spirit, within your soul. Certainly, being a person of your age and intelligence and experience, you have a lot to offer to the people that you encounter on a daily basis in the institution, and I think it's admirable that you've indicated that you will help them and continue to try to do good by them. You'll certainly have a lot of opportunity to do that. You know, as we look at it, all of us, you know, none of us are perfect. Many of us do things that we shouldn't do. It's just unimaginable to me that you have done some of the things that you've done, and whether it's you or someone you become upon using drugs or through the process of just committing the crimes over and over the period of years. I don't know. I don't even know who I'm speaking to now. But being a person of power and influence, and the question is raised of what type of character do you have? A person who would prey upon folks who are vulnerable and who are of a lower perceived estate than you. How you would prey upon those people who you say you love. And you'd capitalize on a disparity of what you have versus what they had and what they need and what they desired. You know, in my years, I know of no greater joy as a lawyer that I've had during my 47 years as a lawyer than the joy of having a satisfied client, of delivering good results for a client and experiencing that joy with them. I can think of no greater joy. than I've experienced in being able to deliver on behalf of a client. And I'm sure you've experienced that joy as well, until you decided that the only joy you're concerned about was your own. I take no joy at all in imposing this sentence, but it is what it is. And you'll have to suffer the consequences of your acts, continue to suffer the consequences, and hopefully some good will come out of you as you move forward.
Judge Clifton Newman's sentencing was swift and severe. 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. The judge spoke directly to Alex, noting the particular tragedy of a man who came from a family dedicated to justice, now convicted of the most unjust acts imaginable. But the story didn't end there. Even after conviction, Alex continued to reveal his character. In a jail call played for the court, he suggested to Buster that he give away Maggie and Paul's belongings as Christmas presents. The callousness shocked observers. His wife and son's possessions, treated as mere items to be distributed. The web of corruption continued to unravel. Financial crimes spanning decades. Clients who'd trusted him, only to discover their settlements had been stolen. Families who'd lost loved ones, only to have Alex steal from their grief. In May 2025, another scandal emerged. Becky Hill, the clerk of court during Alex's murder trial, was arrested and charged with misconduct in office, obstruction of justice, and perjury. She'd allegedly shown sealed evidence to the press, lied under oath, and used her position to profit from a book about the trial. Even the systems meant to ensure justice had been compromised. Alex's appeal continues. His lawyers argue that jury tampering, misconduct, and the overwhelming media attention made a fair trial impossible. But as of now, Alex Murdaugh remains in prison, serving 2 life sentences. Perhaps no testimony was more heartbreaking than Maggie's sister, speaking about the woman they'd lost. Not just a victim in a case. A person, a mother, a sister, a friend, someone whose life mattered beyond the headlines and courtroom drama. Maggie Murdaugh was 52 years old. She'd been married to Alex for 27 years. She loved the beach. She loved her sons. She was by all accounts a devoted mother who'd stood by her family through the boat crash scandal. Paul Murdaugh was 22 years old. Yes, he'd made a terrible mistake that night on the boat. A mistake that cost Mallory Beach her life. But he was also someone's son, someone's brother, someone's friend. He never got the chance to make amends or grow from his mistakes. The Murdaugh dynasty, built over nearly a century, collapsed in a single evening. The family that once represented justice in South Carolina now represents its ultimate betrayal. So what really happened on June 7th, 2021? Based on the evidence presented at trial, prosecutors believe this is what occurred. By early June, Alex Murdaugh was facing financial catastrophe. The boat crash lawsuit was forcing him to disclose financial records that would expose years of theft. His law partners were asking questions. His carefully constructed world of lies was about to crumble. On June 7th, he asked Maggie to come home to Moselle. Paul was already there. At some point that evening, he lured them both to the kennels. At approximately 8:49 p.m., just minutes after Paul recorded that video, Alex retrieved 2 weapons, a rifle and a shotgun. He approached Maggie first near the kennels, then Paul inside or near the feed room. Both were gone within minutes of each other. Alex then engaged in a frantic series of activities to create an alibi. He drove to his mother's house, stayed briefly, returned to Moselle, called 911, and performed the role of grieving husband and father. He believed he'd thought of everything. He believed his status, his family name, and his legal expertise would protect him. He believed wrong. The Alex Murdaugh case is a story about power, about privilege, about what happens when someone believes they're above the law. For decades, the Murdaugh family was the law in South Carolina's Lowcountry. They decided who went to prison and who went free. But in the end, the law caught up. Not because Alex Murdaugh was treated differently, but because he was finally treated the same as anyone else. The evidence was overwhelming. The lies were too many, and justice, delayed but not denied, was finally served. 2 life sentences, no parole, the rest of his life behind bars. But perhaps the real life sentence is living with what he did. If the jury was right, Alex Murdaugh looked at the people he was supposed to protect and made the most unthinkable decision. For money, for freedom, for himself. The Murdaugh dynasty ended not with the prestige of 100 years of legal legacy, but with the sound of a gavel and the word guilty. Maggie and Paul Murdaugh rest at the family cemetery at Moselle, the property where their lives ended. Their memory lives on through the people who loved them and the justice system that refused to let their end go unanswered. If this case showed you anything, it's that justice can prevail, even when everything seems stacked against it. Even when power and privilege seem unstoppable. We bring you these stories because truth matters, justice matters, and the victims matter. Subscribe to Dark Trail Files for more deep dives into cases that shocked the nation. Hit that notification bell because we're bringing you cases you won't find anywhere else with footage and analysis that goes beyond the headlines. Share this video with anyone who believes in justice. Leave a comment telling us what you thought about this case. And remember, in the pursuit of truth, we never stop following the trail. This is Dark Trail Files, where every case tells a story, where every story demands justice, and where the truth always finds its way into the light.